I have lived a life that I like to say is 11 Shades of Meredith Gray, from Grey's Anatomy. And it doesn't take a doctor or a scientist to tell us that we're products of our childhood. We all know that. And we've all had one. And they're just painted different colors. And 9/11, I believe, was the catalyst to very extreme alcoholism, like beyond belief. So I was an alcoholic for 30 years, and on May 1st, I will celebrate 4 years sober. I cannot control what happened to me. I cannot control the towers falling. I cannot control rare disease. I cannot control any of that. But my actions and my behaviors, I am not responsible for the things that happen, but I am responsible for every single thing I do. The power's always been within us, and we are survivors. And we have, if you look at the laundry list of things that we have survived, we are a gajillion times stronger than we ever give ourselves credit for. I handed my child, when he swam the mile, what I thought was a bottle of water, and it was a bottle of vodka. Not a good parenting moment. And begged him not to tattle on me to my husband at 13 years old. Well, what are you going to do about it? And it boils down to being that simple. You cannot make this stuff up. What we've done as women is we've stuffed everything in like our Spanx, and we think it's going to look gorgeous, but then we've got the boob fat that comes out, the back fat. Your leg is numb because it's cut off the circulation. And we think in our minds we look fabulous. And it's ridiculous, and you can't breathe, and you're suffocating. I literally looked at my husband and I said, if I had cancer, we would go to whatever facility and they'd pump me full of chemo, which is a poison, and try and get rid of the cancer. And so you get sober and you work on all of this and you get kind of to a brick wall. And there's a tiny little hole in the mortar. And you look through and you see this gloriousness that you've worked so hard for. And like, I see you, but I can't get to you. Life is not a Jerry Maguire movie. Nobody's coming to complete us. Nobody.
Nobody. And we spend so much time searching for that when we're in survival mode.
Yes.
I have to extinguish the
Yes.
dumpster fire that's going on in
Fires.
my brain. But the reality is, if trauma goes unchecked, it is then passed on up to 8 generations. And if the eighth generation isn't addressing that trauma, it's still getting passed on, right? Some of us believe that we have to have like this big T trauma. Well, I wasn't abused, I haven't been raped, I haven't gone through
Right.
this.
And if my eyes dart on something that goes through my head, then that's something I need to hone in on.
Mm,
But it's a very telling practice. If my artery was blocked going to my heart, what is the cardiothoracic surgeon going to do? He's going to reroute the artery.
mhm.
Why do you think it's not possible in the brain? And it stops them in their tracks. Matthew Perry died from Matthew Perry. Ketamine was just the vehicle. Stop it.
Mhm.
Stop it. You don't. So when you're looking at the results and you're ready to do that work, you know what you have to put in, then it is an absolutely brilliant complement to coaching, to meditate, to personal well-being.
You spoke about how powerful the brain is. One of the things it does is compartmentalize, right? So we can go through these extreme periods of stress and trauma, and 10 years later completely forget about it because our body has like stuffed it.
You're like, cuckoo bird, nope, not doing that today. And owning it. If I'm having a day and I walk into, people know, having a day, just because I own it. It's not their responsibility. It's not others' responsibility to not trigger me. That's mine because it's my trigger.
And like that's the key to healing. Like we can brush it off. We can say, yes, now I recognize this is a trigger. But if we aren't then actively trying to rewrite the narrative, actively trying to change the response
How
to the
I'm thinking
stimuli,
about it. Right.
yeah,
Right. And it's scary. It's very scary, but how I look at it is here's this fire, right? And your dumpsters are rolling by, and all I'm doing is going, what does that do? That just spreads wildfire
yeah, it just
and
spreads it.
I'll light that bitch on fire in an instant. The fire does not define you. What you do next does.
Absolutely. What you do next, how you take action is what ultimately defines you.